Clicking delete on a WordPress plugin shows a green success message. The database tells a different story. Rows for that plugin are still sitting in the options table, in the post meta table, sometimes in custom tables nobody remembers creating. So where does that data live, and why did it survive the click that was supposed to remove it? Here is the number that frames the whole problem. Across audits of real WordPress installs run by hosting providers between 2023 and 2024, only about 20% of installed plugins ship a working uninstall routine. The other 80% leave their rows behind when the user deletes them. That is not a bug count. That is the baseline behavior of the ecosystem. WordPress core gives plugin authors two ways to clean up. The first is a file called uninstall.php sitting in the plugin root. When a user deletes the plugin from the admin screen, core checks for that file, confirms a safety constant is defined, and runs whatever cleanup code lives inside. The second path is the register uninstall hook API, which lets the author register a callback function instead of a file. Either way, the cleanup code only runs on delete, never on deactivate. Most plugins do not ship that file. There are three honest reasons. First, users complain loudly when reinstalling a plugin loses their settings, so support tickets push authors toward keeping the data around just in case. Second, plugin authors cannot reliably tell which option keys belong only to them and which are shared with sibling plugins or themes, so a delete call starts to feel like a foot gun. Third, the deactivate path is exercised constantly while the delete path is rare, so the uninstall code, if it exists, is the least tested code in the plugin. None of this is laziness. These are engineering trade-offs made under real constraints. To find what a plugin left behind, the developer can ask the question two ways. The first uses the WordPress command line interface, which talks to core and respects multi-site filters. The second is raw SQL, which talks straight to mysql and is faster, but bypasses every multi-site safeguard. Both queries scan the option name column for a known prefix. The output here is a real WP Forms install after about a year of use, showing roughly half a megabyte of settings, license data, and entry counters that survived the plugin being removed twice. Cleanup uses the same two surfaces in reverse. Before any of these commands run, take a full database backup. Run the cleanup on a staging copy first. Never run a bulk delete on a live store in the middle of a transaction. With those guardrails in place, the WP-CLI calls remove options one key at a time and trigger the write cache invalidation. The raw SQL version is faster across thousands of rows, but it does not fire any hooks, so any plugin watching for changes will not know they happened. There are three cases where running this cleanup is the wrong call. First, plugins whose data is actually the content management system content. WooCommerce orders, Gravity Forms entries, advanced custom fields field definitions. Deleting those rows deletes the store. Second, plugins that get reinstalled on a schedule. Event registration tools, holiday pop-up plugins, A/B testing kits. Wiping their settings just means rebuilding them next quarter. Third, plugins that share a meta key prefix with a sibling. Yoast SEO and Rank Math both write to overlapping post meta keys, and a prefix-wide delete during a migration can corrupt the survivor. Identify before deleting. Assume the prefix is shared until proven scoped. The leftover data problem is real, and it is widespread. The fix is not a panic clean after every uninstall, it is a quiet audit once a year. Before deleting any plugin, run a WP-CLI option list against the prefix and see who is still keeping the database company.